So Women in Game France has been created 3 years ago now. We have about 2,000 members. And we focus on 3 major aspects. The first thing we do, and we try the most from the beginning, is to put forward the women of our industry so that they are visible and so that they can inspire other women to work with us. And one of the ways we've done that is by creating a quite big now expert list so that anyone who needs someone to talk about video game can find a woman. We don't want to see any more panel about video games without a woman involved. Hi, Michaela. So that's the first, one of our first action is really the visibility. It takes many forms, but that's one of the key efforts. And we've been around France to find all of those speakers, and we found out that many women didn't want to speak and be in the spotlight. So we also created a training, one day full training to make people more comfortable speaking in front of an audience. And it's been running all around France with about maybe now 70 women trained. So the visibility is the key, but then we also, of course, work a lot with the industry to change the practices in the studios, in the way the HR teams are built, in the way people recruit. And we especially want to put the focus on training all of the people who work in the industry about what it means to be an inclusive studio, an inclusive team. That's one of our big actions and big training that we're trying to set up in France this year. And another area where we're very active is actually esports. You know, there's like maybe 5-10% of women really active professionally in the esports industry. So we decided to create a kind of an incubator. So we're basically training very talented players, women players, to join teams at a national level. So we have had 3 sessions of that incubators on League of Legends and a second session on League of Legends, and then latest session with Ubisoft on Rainbow Six. And this is working really well. The women we train receive coaching every week, and they've achieved great results. And it's also created a lot of visibility on the women, the players of esports. I think that's going to be my conclusion would be that in addition to all of the actions we have and all of the shows we attend and the Paris Game Week and all of that, we have also figured out that the key as often to change the society, our industry, was money. So we have participated in the creation of Wings. Wings is a fund that is dedicated to funding games by women and marginalized genders developers. So I will talk about it this afternoon in another Q&A. So anyone who's interested can join me there. But that's really, I think, the latest extension of our work at Women in Games is to go and bring money to the creators directly. That's it for me. Is it then Annette that will take after me?
Thank you very much, Audrey. Michaela, your microphone is making a lot of noise, so maybe we could mute when you're not speaking, please, if possible.
Sure.
Nice to see you all. I'm Annette Staloy. I work in the Norwegian games industry. I've been part of the industry for 5 years. Prior to that, I have around 15 years of experience in tech. We set up Women in Games Norway last year. It started at an event on International Women's Day, and one of my co-founders, she had been looking for, to build her network in the industry. Prior to this, I have been attending events, and I've met with David and Marie-Claire many times, and I wanted to set up something, but I was already involved in so many projects and a tech network for women in tech. So I kind of waited to see if I could get someone else to join me. And then Karen came and just said, we let's make a group. And then we decided to do it more formally, and we talked with Marie-Claire and David again, and then we joined the international organization, and we officially launched in June. So we're quite new organization. We had a lot of things going on until March, when everything kind of paused for us. We have about 80 members. So we have been using this last year for the formalities to set up the organization. We need to make a bank account to have the register in the all the places where you need to register, and then start to spread the word and get people to find us. So we made a website. So we have womeningamesnorway.com, and tried to have someone in the group make the graphics that we needed, and to set up some rules and guidelines. And now we are at the end of the month, we have our annual meeting where we have a new election for new people to join the board and to see what the members want us to focus on. We've also had a lot of discussions on who can be a member, because we can say that to be a member, you need to be a woman working in the games industry, or you can be a woman aspiring to work. But this is, we want to work for inclusion, so we want everyone to join regardless of gender. So these are things that we are, discussing and figuring out, and we're learning a lot from other organizations, and we have gotten a lot of help. And we've also arranged some lunches and breakfasts that have been very useful. I recognize what Audrey said about a lot of women not wanting to speak at events. So we haven't gotten to the point where we have set up trainings, but that is one of the things that we want to do. Another thing that we want to do is to try to help the industry create like code of conduct and anti-harassment policies, because this is also now being required by law in Norway. So we want to help, especially people who are not in a management position. We want to kind of empower them to have, this is a template you can start with. We don't want to, to give them something that they can just say, okay, we implemented this and now we're done, but more of a starting help. So we've been doing that, and also trying to get people to get to know each other. We're a small industry in Norway. I think we are about 30 actively producing game studios, and many aspiring. We have a lot of students, so we try to spread the word, have them connect with us, and then build networks and inspire more people to join. So I think it's really inspiring to see how many members and how big your organizations have become, and we take a lot of inspiration from that. Yeah, I think that's it for now for me.
I mute myself. I look like I'm next in the little square. Hi, I'm Amy Allison. I help run Women in Games International and the US. David Smith and I have known each other for a really long time. The organization has been around since 2004. I have recently taken over as the executive director, but before that time, I had volunteered with the organization for approximately 12 years. And my specific passion is setting up programs. So just like what Annette said, we are also open to men and women, because we very much value our male allies, because if we're going to grow in this industry, we definitely need their support. Women in Games and Women in Games International are very similar. We just run on different sides of the pond. What's good about working with us in the US is that we have all of the official tax forms and registrations needed to do programs as a nonprofit in the United States. So one of the things that drew me to Women in Games International is that I wanted to do programs that were substantive on a large scale, and it offered me an opportunity to reach a massive network and do cool things under a nonprofit umbrella. One of the programs that we did a long time ago, which is sadly no longer in place, is a Girl Scout patch for video game design. Because we also serve women in all different spectrums of their career, whether it's youth not even knowing that games can be a career, all the way to people who want to join the industry, people who are just starting off or mid-career, and then also supporting the women who have had a long career in gaming, which I know is not that many. But in the 15 years that I've been around the organization, 12 of them have been spent with radio, and they've been the best times of my life. I've made the most amazing friends. We do a lot of social get-togethers at massive conferences, but we are currently repivoting the organization to do things that are larger in scale. A couple things that we're working on as well is a speakers bureau, but we're trying to put an RFP together with the IGDA right now so that it's not a repeat game of games. So we're trying to make sure that we're building a secure network of women that can speak. So if, say, conferences come up and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't find any women for this conference, there's not just like a list waiting for people to go and find women to date or harass. We will make sure that there's like secure strongholds to get access to that information. And we will be building that out with the IGDA with different types of people with diversity, not just women. I'm also working on a study of women in games 2020. That was something I was working on in March before all of this stuff happened. And in all of my projects that I move forward with, one of the things that I want to be very cognizant of as we pivot our organization is that we're supporting all of the other organizations that are out there doing great programs for women. We don't want to create competition programs. We want to support the programs that you guys are already doing that are successful. For example, I know that we wanted to have a speakers training program. I'm going to reach out to Audrey to figure out like how hers started. So that's why I really wanted to participate today, was to say, like, we're getting ready to start doing bigger things that will make like a national splash rather than just community. But we want it to be a turnkey solution for any women who are in video games that want to give back to their community. Say like, hey, I want to go and talk to middle school age kids and tell them about my awesome career. Or, oh, you know what? I think I'm at a time in my career when I'm ready to give back and mentor. Or I just want to come and like party with some friends and like network in a safe space. Anything in, under that umbrella, we want to be able to provide. So one thing that is different from us, from IGDA, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, is that we represent women for all aspects of the industry. So anything from developer to lawyer to sports player, we want to cover everybody, not just developers. So if you're in marketing or anything else. So that's kind of what we're doing over here across the pond. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. My name is Ruth Lemon. I am the co-founder of Womanize. We are based in Germany, and in comparison to all the other speakers, we are not a membership organization, but we are rather a network. I myself, I'm working in the games industry for more than 20 years now, and I also was, in that time, I was for 7 years responsible at the German Trade Association that was then called BIU, responsible for the project management. Among my events was Gamescom as well, and I did the moving of Gamescom from Leipzig to Cologne in 2009. And when I left, when I was working in the industry, I realized that there is a lack of diversity, and I always found that strange. When I quit the trade association, me and a colleague of mine from the German games industry, or the international games industry, Michael Liebe, he is the head of Games Week Berlin. We were sitting together and we came across that we had to do something about that. And that's why we founded Womanize, and the first talks were in 2014, and our first event then was in 2015. I would say it's a network or a platform. We organize events, and those are mainly linked to the Games Week in Berlin, but we all, have our satellite events since 2018 in Cologne. Well, the focus of the events is to have a conference program, but also to provide workshops and to give the possibility for networking and recruitment as well. And this very special program is working well in Germany, because I think we have we have a good team of people organizing the events, and when we were first deciding to do something like that or to organize an event like that, we thought it's very important to give the opportunity to women to speak on stage. As always said already, this is sometimes quite difficult to convince the colleagues to do something or to present on stage, because that's why I think the idea to provide speaker training is excellent. We should think about that as well, because that was the main problem I had in the first place when we were organizing the conference, that I had to heavily to come up with big arguments to make the women speak in front of the audience. But that's changed over the years a little bit. And for us, it's important to provide, to give role models a stage, to provide possibility for networking, to have more of family event, family gathering than a huge event. So normally we have 250 people coming to our events, and also give the possibility for recruitment and networking. We also have workshops for both sides, for the young talents that are attending the conference, but also for companies on how to build up a better space for more diversity within their company. So there are obviously themes like code of conduct, how to do recruitment in a proper way so that female audience feel attracted. Things like that are covered. We had some milestones, as I said earlier already. We had, since 2018, we have a satellite event, or we have another Women Nights taking place in Cologne in autumn. Usually we have our big event in Berlin during Games Week. And we were awarded the Women in Games Advocacy Award last year, which we really loved, and we are very proud of that. This was obviously another milestone for us. Talking about the actual challenges we have, it's always the same, financing the event, because we are not taking a lot of money for the registration, because we are targeting a young audience of students, of scholars, young female talents. So therefore, financing is always a problem. We usually get funding from the Medienboard Berlin-Brandenburg here in the region, which we are grateful for. So this is one of the challenges, and obviously another challenge now is to move it all into a hybrid or only online conference, because Games Week should have happened in April, but was then postponed, and will now happen by the end of October. And we will switch to an online Womanize edition, which is obviously, you all know that, quite complicated. And so another challenge, I think, is also caused by the pandemic. That I think there is a big risk that another time women are getting lost on the way, because everything is changing now into online, and I think there are more challenges, and we are risking to have all the efforts we put into bringing more women in the industry are now maybe at risk, because all the whole, there is no space to meet anymore, and there are no conferences taking place actually. So I think this is a danger as well. But we are optimistic, and I'm happy to see you all here. And yeah, that was all from my side for the moment. Thank you. Simai, yours. The floor is yours.
Now, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. It's great to see you. It's lovely to see you, everyone. I really miss you. I'm starting to cry. I'm super emotional today, you know. And I'm Simay. I'm a founder of Women in Games Turkey. I'm a game producer and co-founder of Recontact Games. Our passion to make playable arts. So we are combining cinema into the mobile company, and we set up our company almost 6 years ago. But when I entered gaming industry, I also realized that lack of interests from women's side and lack of diversity. So I set up Women in Games Turkey 5 years ago, and we work with Oyunder. Oyunder is a Turkish Game Association, it's a non-profit organization, and we set up together Women in Games Turkey. And I always tell this story, but in our first event, we were so excited, and we invited, you know, the role models, and we organized panels, and only 3 women came, but 30 men came. So we said that, okay, we have lots of things to do, and we start to travel all around Turkey and organized events, panels in 40 different universities. We reached thousands of women. Now we have 2,000 members in Turkey, and up until now, we organized the biggest events in the gaming industry. So one of them was hacking the future. So as a game producer, and my passion and my aim to make people realize this industry gets enriched by different disciplines and different backgrounds. And now in 21st century, the video games has an amazing power. So we need to use that power to create better future. So in our events, we invite artists, scientists, game developers, UNDP, and to create like better games, create games for better futures. Also, we last year we organized one night at the museum, which is an amazing event. Also, Marie Claire came to our event to encourage our women. So it was an unforgettable organization to the woman who wants to be a career in the gaming industry. So it's all about encourage. It's all about they let them know to the role models, let them meet them their role models, and all events are free. So, and we don't ask any don't ask for annual registration. It's all free. If they want to be part of, we welcome everyone. So, and because we are volunteers, I mean, I'm a founder of Women in Games Turkey, but I have I'm a game producer, and I'm a co-founder of the company, and all our team, it's volunteer. But we are very passionate about that we are very passionate about diversity. So working very hard, but we are super happy to that moment. On November, we have an annual meeting. We will welcome new members, and hopefully looking forward to see you soon, touch you soon. So right now, that's it. And Michaela, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry for the problems. It's so good to see you all. I truly miss game events, because I am used, like many of you, to meet every time, and it's so it's so sad that we can see each other for a long time, but we are happy to do online as well. So thank you very much for inviting me to join this amazing event. I'm the founder of Women in Games Italy. So we work in Italy to promote diversity, running video game events. We mostly work promoting game professionals, women working in the industry, of course, in development, production, and also marketing. We see that more women are working in roles like production, producers, marketing and communication, not so many in development. And we find also very important to work with students and institutions, because in Italy need to make people understand that games are important not only as cultural means, but also as industry. So we are working a lot with schools, institutions, and university to let this message arrive. I've also started a course in a private university of Rome, Link Campus University, with Women in Games Italy and myself as a teacher. The course is in diversity and inclusion policies in the game industry. And it's very important for me because I see every time that at the very beginning of the year, students really don't know what we are talking about. They are also very, they have some prejudices about this course, about the topic. They think like we need to add pink quotas in games. And I see that at the end of the course, they truly do understand the topic and the issues of diversity. So it's very important, and I'm very happy about that. We are running more virtual events, of course, as for this situation we all have this right now. And we're also working with other partners and associations in the entertainment to encourage women working in games also to start working maybe with other companies working in cinema, in movies. As of course here in Rome and in Italy, the movies are a strong industry, while games still need to develop like a bigger industry. So that was my introduction. Thank you very much.
Hi, I've come back in. Well, so much. It really is great to hear you all. And strangely enough, I was thinking as I was watching all of us, you know, it's been hard in the past for us all to be together. I know I've seen, you know, Audrey somewhere, then I met Annette somewhere, then I met Michaela somewhere, Amy, I haven't met you yet, Sime, I've met her, but like Rita haven't met, and then we're all together. And this is sort of very magical in many ways, isn't it? Because here we all are. We're not in person, but we're all here. Some of the things that have come through on the chat thread, you may have already seen them yourselves as well, but just this idea of having a timeline of global events and perhaps coordinating more things that we do together. Because I think another thing that's coming out is things like, you know, Audrey, your wonderful, you know, speakers program. Someone put up on the chat, do you have that in the UK? And well, we don't. We haven't got that. We've got other things, but we don't have that. But so this work that we're all doing, how going forward can we, yeah, Amy, you've just put in, let's work smarter, not harder, and collaborate. So I do think that we should try and do this going forward. And I think yesterday I was explaining that as part of the Innovate UK grant that we received that have helped us to put this conference on, we took on board the platform Hopin, and that the way that we've engaged with Hopin is that then we have this platform for a year, and it would be a terrible waste to have it for a year for just 2 days now. So I think it would be really great if going forward after this we could consider ways that we could utilize the Hopin platform together, and that we could perhaps run some of these things. Maybe we can run workshops, you know, speaker workshops or something, because the great thing about this platform is, of course, it is global. And yes, there are time zone issues. Amy, I'm thinking of you at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, etc. And we had to think about this a lot when we put the conference on, because we just kept thinking, you know, oh my God, it's like, you know, we want these people and these people, and how are we going to fit them in, and where, and will they be awake, and you know. So, but we've done it, so it's definitely doable. So I think from my perspective, I would really like us to make some plans going forward. I mean, what do the rest of you think about that? Just throwing it out there.
I would love to see us do.
Sorry.
Oh, I would love to see us do something where the leadership from the different organizations do get together to share resources, talk about programs that we're doing that are working, what's not working, ask each other for support for the programs that we're working on. I think that would be invaluable rather than, I mean, in addition to just like general women's groups, but it would be nice to get the leadership together.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, you know, and this is also around COVID-19 because, you know, obviously we still have a lot of uncertainty going forward about the shape of the world. You know, I mean, here in the UK, there's a lot of talk about, you know, a spike and a peak going into the winter, you know, and that there are the more problems ahead. Now, I think this world that we're living in, I think is going to go on for much longer than we possibly think. And I mean, perhaps I'm being pessimistic, but what I do know is that, you know, it's been hard. In some cases, it's been very hard for women working from home with children, you know, and there are some really, I don't want to talk about them right now, but there are some hideous reports actually about what's been happening to women as well, beyond just domestic pressures. Now, you know, it then strikes me that this is we have to utilize what we have. So we have to solve a problem. So we have to utilize, we've got this way of connecting and communicating, then we have to utilize it, and we just have to get better at it and better at organizing it, making sure that we actually provide access to it. You know, it's been very interesting setting up Hopin, for instance, and learning about it. And I mean, it's not been perfect. I mean, I was in the wrong room this morning. I was supposed to be giving my address, and I found myself in the wrong bit of Hopin. And, you know, we've had lots of things that haven't quite worked out with the technology. But I think going forward, I think we should consider how we can use this technology to actually, you know, make what is a human connection, even though, Michaela, it's not actually in person. And that's what I would really like us to do, and to be able to share information this way. So, oh, Amy's just said that we met once in the streets. Oh, right, sorry, that I should have known that. So back again to just you know, some of the things that we could do. Does anything sort of, obviously beyond what we've just been discussing, is there any other areas where you think that Annette, I like the hand up because it's very easy then to say, and Michaela, yeah, I like that. Yes, Annette first and then Michaela.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, you know, making this recruitment checklist. It was mentioned here as well, because a lot of the studios that I talk with, they don't understand why, for example, they don't get women to apply. And then it's just, in some cases, it's just to look at the website and how they represent the company. And there are so many things you can do. And I've seen tremendous results working with recruiting. I've recruited like 12, 13 people for our studio. And just looking at the applications coming in, see the effect of, displaying that we actually do have a diverse team, and people comment on this. They've seen if you have speakers on events, if you're visible on events, who do you send? What pictures do you put on the website? What words do you use in the job posting? If you're like looking for rock stars and superstars, maybe some women are less likely to apply to that job, right? So it's things like that. And I think it's the same for all of us. Maybe we could, like, instead of sitting in different places, maybe we could do something together. And that, so words, and also where do you post? Because, where do you reach these people? Yeah. So I'm inviting for a cooperation here.
Great. Michaela, you had something you wanted to say.
Yes, I truly like the idea of having a recruiting organization to work together online. Not organization, sorry, a recruiting activity. But I was thinking also to engage with universities and students, like in a network of university with women in games, working in different countries, because of course it will be very useful for these young students to know more about all the opportunities, also to be inspired if they want to go to work abroad. And especially here in Italy, of course, we have this issue. Many game industry professionals truly need to go to find work abroad, because otherwise they don't have as much as opportunities here in Italy. So I think that will be a great idea. Also, I would like to work together on a study, European study on the situation of women working in the industry, because I see we don't have detailed studies about that, and we truly feel it to be really important for us also to understand and to engage more with the institutions and companies here in Italy.
Thanks, Michela. It's quite interesting that you've brought that up, because yesterday our keynote speaker, Aviva Wittenberg-Cox, she was talking about, her company, she's the CEO of a company called 21st. And she's done a lot of work across a lot of different sectors, often looking at the top levels of organizations and companies. So they've just produced a set of scorecards for the games industry, and we did some work together on these. And it, the data, she said, data on the games industry, particularly around gender, was very, very poor. She couldn't find, her researchers couldn't find very much. And what they found was also very up and down. So it wasn't very consistent. And she was saying that, in other industries, there was more data. And, she had a question on why there wasn't much data in this for the games industry. Now, here in the UK, there was some work done which was government funded through Creative Skills Set, and that was in around about 2015. Recently, Yuki have done some work, but it's not specifically on gender. It has a statistic of 28% of women working in the industry, but actually the processes for gathering that data means that it may not be completely accurate, in the sense that other bits of data in the country suggest it could even be as low as 14. So we're still, because of the quality of the research, we still don't quite know. And it's really hard to move forward, I think, in terms of gender, which obviously, gender, part of gender is all the other areas of diversity. But unless we have the data, and Aviva was saying yesterday, unless you have the data, it's very hard, because you can't position yourself properly. You can't, even in terms of funding and things like that, it's difficult if you don't have that set. And for some reason, it's been very hard. I found it very hard to get support for gathering that data. Now, I am working with several different universities and research organizations to try and get it. Amy, you're doing some. So we should try and join the dots up, because Michela, you're right, because there's one, there's the UK, there's Europe, then there's, obviously all the rest of the world, the US. But I think the US have got some better data, because you've been doing more research. I think the IGDA have done research. But I think, yeah, look, I can see Amy's on there, the case. But I do think that that's something I think we should try and do together, because I think as a consortium, because I think can do one thing in the UK, can do one thing in Italy, or you can do one thing, but actually if we were to pull together a bigger bid even to get some funding for that, which is more globally focused, I think that's something we should really try and have a go at. I mean, I don't know what the rest of you think about that, but Amy, say something. Oh no, Annette, Amy, Annette.
Spoken, so I'm just ready.
Yeah, I was just thinking also, even here in Norway, where it's a rather small country and with a rather small industry, it's been very difficult to get someone to take ownership to find those numbers, because I can't do it alone, right? And even there are some data. We even have struggled to get someone to produce reports on the revenue data, which is the first thing. So we had last year, there was a survey, you know, to get the revenue, how many games, how many players, how many employees full time. And then I tried to get them to also to get some gender data, but then they didn't do that. But this year they did, but still we don't know when the results are coming. And it's not very clear when you fill out what are they actually looking for. So we don't know if the data is going to be accurate or not. And then it's like on events or in movies, when we're so used to having like the representation of women is low, and then as soon as we see someone, it feels like, oh, there are so many, right? Even though there are numbers of this research on this. So it's very easy when we, if you are a place and there are women there, people say, oh, there is no issue because there are a lot of women. So I know the same for movies also. If they have measured how many percent of the dialogue is held by a woman, and even though if we perceive it as a lot, it's very little. So we need the data. Yeah.
No, we do. I can just see Audrey. Audrey, you're next. I think yes. Go for it.
So I have a very strong opinion on this, because my idea is that we should stop asking women to work. This is really my big finding after 3 years of being working for women in games. So I am asking, in my country, France, I am asking the actors of the sector to produce this data just at the basis of their work. It shouldn't be us to do that. It should be them. No. So for us, it's called the SNJV and the CEL, it's Yuki, whoever the names are. The government has to set the measurements of who's doing what. It's not our job. Let's not do it. I don't want to do it. Let's make them do it for us. And properly, please.
I think that's absolutely brilliant, Audrey, and I think you're absolutely right. And I saw that Gary put something up, like just asking folks to produce or provide data for the surveys will do a lot to raise awareness of the issue fairly high up in the companies. And actually, Aviva, to be fair, Aviva did say that yesterday as well. So I think you're right. We already do enough for very little. So I think, we do need to turn that around. So I think that's quite an affirmative decision we've come to as we get closer to the end of our session. Is there anything else that anyone would like to comment on or talk about before we close?
That's great. I've already mentioned it. It would be just great to have a Discord with all of the women in games, because we could share our data. I mean, Marie-Claire, we've been using your fantastic diversity guide, and we're translating it in French, and maybe someone else wants to do the same. And I mean, there are so many things we could share, even though we don't speak the same language. We can still understand each other in some ways. Yeah. So I would love to have a grouped Discord of all our members, maybe all together somehow, if it's possible.
Ooh. That's a great idea. I would love to do that as well. Great, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Are we making more work for ourselves doing that, Audrey? How difficult?
I mean, figure out something there.
Well, we're obviously all giving our time. Let's make sure it's the most efficient use of our time by working together.
No, and that's definitely true. And we have to try and do that more, because, I think what happens is that you get in a funnel of what you're doing, and you're trying to do a certain amount of things, and then reaching out and then coordinating more outward things, again, as Audrey said, more work. It feels like more work, so you just stay down a single trajectory. Whereas actually, we have to find processes and mechanisms to be able to easily connect. So Audrey, I think Discord is a good idea, but if we had a Discord and it was open to everyone, I think it would become pretty large. That's my only anxiety, large, and then what you have to monitor it, you have to find information, and there's all those kinds of things. And I suppose there's that, but then maybe between us, and I noticed there's some other organizations like in Finland, and maybe if it was a group of leaders who just can strategically drive some things and share some things to start with before we open it up to absolutely everybody. It's quite frightening, I think, how quickly when you open something up, how fast it can build, and the numbers, the monitoring of those numbers.
Yeah, it would require a moderation, because there has been recent examples. I think it was in the UK where there is an open group and suddenly you don't want to be part of it. So absolutely moderation. And then I think I've seen some threads sometimes where people say, let's connect on LinkedIn and maybe reach out. I feel like, especially if we have met at an event or in the panel now we know each other and now we're friends, we can, ping each other on LinkedIn or something like that. So I just encourage that. And then when you add someone on LinkedIn, because especially, for example, when I work, I forgot to say where I work. I work at Dirtybit, a small studio in Norway. I work with marketing and all sorts, but I get a lot of requests from people who want to sell a service. So it's very helpful if you just, we met in the panel, or now I know you, or I saw your talk, or we met at the event, so that you can kind of feel a bit more, and then you will remember as well later. So I really believe in, connection. I use Facebook for work. I use Messenger. It's very easy to just ping someone and said, hey, you want to help me? Just listen to me. Can we discuss this? Yeah.
Okay, so closing thoughts then, I think, because we're coming to the end. Closing thoughts, Audrey. I'm going to go round you all.
Yeah, I will never hesitate to send you all emails about what we're doing in France. So just tell me if you want to be removed from my communications. But I think we have a newsletter with everything we're doing. And sometimes I also ping you for Wings, the fund that I mentioned before. Yeah. So I'll just continue doing that then. And you tell me if you want me to stop.
Brilliant. Thank you. Annette, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I am still, it's so inspiring to see all the work and all the, the speaker training sessions. I think it's a great idea. In Norway also, the country is quite long spread. So we're, if you fly from north to south, I think it takes like 5 hours. So I think digital, maybe we could use Hopin somehow as well, but to connect and help each other, because I think even if we're in different countries, we're in the same industry, we have a lot of the same challenges, and I find it very difficult to do this alone, or not alone, but in our small group of in the board. So to have just discuss, find ways that we can manage the time as well.
Great, thank you. Amy, last thoughts from you.
I just want everyone to know that I've worked in this group for 12 years. I've been in the industry for 15. We are moving the needle. So everyone should be really happy that what we're doing is making a difference. I've seen so much change in the years that I've been here. Sign up for our newsletter with Women in Games International. There's no membership fee. We also want to keep everything open and free to everyone. So just stay in touch with us across the pond.
Great, thank you. And Ruth?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was really inspiring to see you and to also take up and hear about your initiatives and what you are doing, and maybe now I got some inspiration what we could add to our program as well. And I think also the idea is important that we collaborate more maybe, and to have maybe a list of all the Women in Games events. That would be great to follow this up. And I think as takeaway from a panel like that is happening online, I feel very much inspired, and yeah, keep the spirit up. I think, as Amy said earlier, we reached a lot of things already. There's still a long way to go, though. But nevertheless, there is change, and that's great.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Ruth. And Sime, to you, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to share one news, the latest news about Turkish game market. With Istanbul Technical University, we have started Game Tech program. This is a very successful incubation center in Istanbul. So they just announced it, and we are welcome to all the game developers, game artists. If you have a project in gaming industry, please let us know.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And it's lovely to see you. And Michaela, your final thoughts.
It's truly inspiring. I also have some new ideas about our program initiatives to add. I would like to invite all Italian professionals to join Women in Games Italy. We don't ask any fee. We would love to have more and more professionals. We are adding many in these months. So please join us.
That's fabulous. Okay, so this is the end of our panel. It's been great to see you all, and yeah, let's do. I've written on hundreds of pieces of paper all the things. I've got a world plan down here, Amy too. And yes, so let's be in touch. I hope you're able to stay and see some of the other sessions today, and some of the things that we've got planned all the way up through to the evening, where we've got some comedians coming in called Funny Ladies. Yeah, let's be in touch. See you all soon. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.